It's official. Season 9, the Season of the Banner, is coming to New World Aeternum on July 29th. Honestly, there's actually some pretty good additions coming to the game with Season 9, and it's worth actually having a video and calling out each of these and jumping a little bit further into the details. If there's a specific topic that you want to learn more about, feel free to just use the timestamps in the description and jump to exactly what you're looking for. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the first highlight of Season 9, which of course is the brand new Capture the Flag mode coming to New World. So the all new Capture the Flag mode is by far the bread and butter when it comes to Season 9, and really the biggest thing. So much so that, of course, they actually named the season after it, right? Season of the Banner, Capture the Flag, you're trying to capture the enemy team's banner. I actually had the chance to play both preview weekends for Capture the Flag, and honestly, I found it to be a ton of fun. It's pretty straightforward. You work with your team to capture the enemy team's flag, bring it back to your home base, make sure your home flag is actually at your home base, and then you score a point. This is much, much faster than the typical Outpost Rush matches, and honestly, the fast paced and overall objective oriented gameplay makes it pretty fun. I did think it was a little funny though, because the updates that they shared in the graphic on the right side really kind of separated and juiced Capture the Flag all it could. Right, the first three bullets on this entire list, which is almost half the list, is focused on Capture the Flag. But it is important to note that when this is launched, there will be two separate maps that are launched for Capture the Flag, and they'll be rotating, and you basically will have a 50-50 shot at going one or the other when actually queuing up and playing this game mode. But again, overall, I think this is great. We don't have to just constantly queue over and over for some outpost rushes. Instead, we can queue for outpost rushes and capture the flag, right? So, hey, maybe not too bad, and it's worth mixing it up a little bit. And speaking of mixing things up a bit, there's also going to be two additional new maps coming. One of them, a brand new 3v3 arena map known as the Verdant Court, which is super cool. Instead of the Ring of Fire, there's like a Ring of Poison. It's just going to mix things up a bit. And we're also going to have a preview weekend for a brand new OPR map, which will be the third OPR map. Thank goodness they're finally starting to listen to us. But don't worry, even you PvE enjoyers out there will also get some new updates for Season 9, because there's going to be a handful of new open world bosses as part of the Expeditions Unleashed event that's part of the game. So these open world bosses will also give you a chance of getting some 725 gear score weapons, which is totally worth it. It's totally worth doing it. Pick up the max gear score stuff and you'll be good to go. Speaking of max gear score items, there's also going to be a massive change to the free-for-all zone down in Cutlass Keys. So I think the developers quickly realized that this free-for-all, always-on PvP area did not turn out exactly how they wanted it to, and that's okay because they're actually doing changes to get it a little bit closer to that. They are implementing a anti-grouping curse, where essentially if you stay too long to other players in this free-for-all zone, you start to accumulate a debuff that gets greater and greater over time. That essentially makes sure that there's going to be less ganking, less teaming up in this zone, and overall a better experience for everyone that jumps in. On top of that, there's a total rework for the overall rewards. Claiming chests are not going to take you like 2 minutes to actually claim. It's going to be much faster to actually reap the rewards. There's going to be more doubloons in them, and there's going to be max gear score items in the doubloon shop, making it just so much easier to actually pick up more and more gear at max gear score. So speaking of gear and weapons and things like that, we have to start talking about artifacts. So there are going to be two new artifacts that are going to be entering the game, and actually a third one as well. But we already know a little bit about these two weapons here because they were actually showcased in the PvP seasonal world. The first one is the Yeaterson's Hammer, which essentially has the Yeet perk that just throws people across the field, it feels like. It's going to be extremely fun. I'm sure people are going to create meme builds with it, but overall, honestly, it's just going to be an add-on. I'm super glad that they're adding it. The other artifact worth mentioning that's being added is the Crescent's Wave. So similar to the Yeaterson's Hammer, This one's also a lot of fun because it actually dishes off like an external wave every time you do a heavy attack. Um, and it's actually a lot of fun using this, and it adds a little bit more of a environmental gameplay when using the greatsword. I'm a little bit worried about how powerful this one will be, but again, time will tell, and I guess we'll see over time if they kind of stick with these exact perks like they were previously, or if they tone them down quite a bit. I would not be surprised if they do change the perks a little bit to make sure that they're not just game breaking once actually implemented. Plus, something I think that is long overdue is that they're actually reworking these 3 artifacts here. I'm so glad that they're actually taking a look at old artifacts and making some tweaks rather than just piling on more and more and more artifacts each season. So the 3 artifacts that are going to be updated is the Vengeance Life Staff, the Great Wizard's Hat, and the Creed Boots. All 3 of these are very, very minimally used. I mean, the Vengeance Life Staff had a cool idea about kind of creating a Life Staff DPS alternative, but it's very barely used and not very powerful. The Great Wizard's Hat was all about max mana, and a lot of people don't really have mana issues today. And then the Creed boots are just not really used just because there's other much, much stronger boot alternatives out there. So I am excited to kind of see how they tweak these perks to make them a little bit more unique and usable across multiple builds. And that really covers it. Again, there's tons and tons of things coming to Season 9, but I did want to highlight some of the most important ones that are coming. And I hope you guys enjoyed the overview. If you did, consider giving this video a like and also subscribing to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be covering more and more New World Aeternum videos, including what's coming in Season 10 and beyond. So we do have a living roadmap. I'm going to be talking much, much more about this in a future video. But again, if you want to watch that and make sure you don't miss it, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thanks again, and I'll catch you guys later.